not have to ask my manager if I can take off 2 days to spend with my family or to create opportunities for myself. You need to ask yourself, what do I need to do today that requires the necessary change so I can live my ideal life tomorrow? It's going to require a life audit. It's as simple as that. You're going to have to do an audit in your life. Think about it this way. There's 24 hours in a day. For most of us, we spend, 6 to 8 hours sleeping, which would be nice. I don't even spend that. But on average, 6 to 8 hours of our day is spent sleeping. And then we have 16 hours left in our day. And for anybody who works, common hours are 8 to 9 hour shifts for most people. So if I have 16 hours left in my day and I'm spending about 10 hours working, because I have to get up, I got to drive there, I got to drive home. So I've dedicated 10 hours of my day to my job. That means you only have 6 hours left in your day to dedicate to yourself. And those 6 hours, if you have kids and a spouse and family, that's spent cooking, cleaning, tending to your kids, catching up on other things. So a lot of times we ask ourselves, well, what do I have left? I don't have any time left to focus on me. I don't have any time left to focus on creating financial freedom. But that's the excuse that we have to stop using in our life. It's so easy to make an excuse than it is to just create the opportunity. We have to make time for what's important, because out of those 6 hours that are remaining in our day, maybe an hour or 2 of that could be spent trying to educate yourself on how to create that financial freedom, how to create that ideal life that you want, maybe by fixing your credit, maybe by working with somebody to gain a little more education and knowledge on your finances. Maybe it's creating a budget. Maybe it's going through all of your transactions and figuring out what subscriptions and what charges aren't necessary so then you can have more of a budget. It's creating time for what's important. And you don't want to be in a position where the only time your finances are important to you is when you actually need or want something. Meaning, your car breaks down and now you have to go get a new car, but you don't have that savings or that disposable income. And now you can't even leverage your credit to get a car with no down payment and a low interest. So now you need your finances, but you're not in a position to be able to utilize them because you weren't able to make time for it before. So now it's important. And that's the mindset that we have to get out of. We have to understand that financial freedom is important. It is the key to our life. Credit is important. And a lot of times people will say credit is king, credit is queen, and that is exactly what it is. The person that has $100,000 cash in the bank, that's great. But the person with $100,000 in credit, more value than the person with $100,000 cash, because they understand how to leverage and use that money. If you have $100,000 just sitting in the bank, when you spend it, it's gone. It doesn't come back. You have $100,000 of credit in the bank, you're able to leverage some of that, and it's not your money. You're using OPM, somebody else's money, to finance something. And hopefully you have a credit card that has 0 to low interest for 12 to 24 months, or points that let you get 2 to 3 times the points on purchases. And then you're getting more money back for the purchases that you made with your points. If you have cash, once it's gone, it's gone. So you got to figure out a way to get more cash. But when you have credit, you have the credit. You pay it back and you get more credit because the banks are happy that you're using their money, giving them their money back. And because of that, they'll give you more money, or they'll reward you with some type of rewards or some type of points that then you can turn into cash and use for something else for free. That is financial freedom. So you don't want to be in a position where you feel like credit is only important when you need something, because things happen. So many kids have graduated from school right now, and think about the friends and family members that you weren't able to visit because you weren't in the right financial position, because you couldn't just catch that flight and use your Amex to pay for the trip and then get 2 times the points, so you'll get that back for a free flight next month. That's the ideas that we have to have. That's the mindset shift that we have to have. You want to be in a position where you can stay ready so you don't have to get ready, because everybody continues to talk about this recession that we're in, and that's going to happen. We talked last week about these companies firing their employees. You show up to work on a Monday, and Monday at 11 o'clock, after you've taken your lunch, they decide to let you go. No severance, here's your paycheck, and that's it. You figure it out. And most of us are in that secure or independent stage of our finances to where we're okay for the next 2 to 4 months. But then what happens after that? Now you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to take another job that's not going to pay you the same. You may not have the same hours or better insurance. You're going to have to compromise. And that is going to create a strain on you at some point. At some point, that's going to create a strain. And that's not what you have to experience in life. It's just having the right mindset to put yourself in a position to be able to experience financial freedom for yourself, for your family, for your kids, to not have to wonder and worry, am I going to be next? Now, what happens if I'm sick for a month and I don't have a paycheck? It's not where we all want to be. And that's not what you have to do. So here's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about, because we're talking about having the right mindset to be able to experience and create the financial freedom that we want and deserve in our lives. So when I think about where I was and where I am, I remember what I was taught when it comes to credit. And I was taught, depending on, I'm not going to give out my age or anything, but the generation that I came from, I was taught that credit was, I better mind my business, I better stay in a child's place, and the only thing I needed to know was that my family was doing what was necessary to ensure that I was able to live a decent life. That's what I grew up knowing about credit and nothing else. So when I became 18, 19 years old, and I applied for something and I realized, I can get a cell phone for free, I can get cable for free, I can get these credit cards and buy clothes for free. It's exciting, it's new, but I wasn't actually taught what that meant. I didn't know anything about an interest rate. I didn't know anything about my statement dates and my due dates on my credit cards. I didn't know about annual percentage rates. None of that. I thought y'all gave me some money and I'll pay it back, and then that was it. I didn't realize that I had to pay more than my minimum payment, and every month you guys were going to charge me $18 to $17 of interest on a charge that I made 2 months ago, and that my payments weren't adding up to anything. Those are the conversations that we have to start having, or else it's going to be a cycle that is continuously repeated. It's important for kids, teenagers, young adults to understand what credit means and how credit can affect them in the future if they don't understand how to leverage it. And they should understand the opportunities that it can create for them. So many kids have graduated from high school this year and are just going out, getting jobs, working, or just going to college, and they don't understand the leverage that they can create for themselves being young adults and having this infinite amount of access to other people's money, OPM, credit, banking. So I want to talk to you guys about that. If you have some kids right now that are listening, tell them to listen up. If you're watching us on Facebook, tell them to tap in. Because again, the kids are the future. They are the next generation that are going to keep us afloat. Because we can't rely on Social Security. That's going to dry up. We're heading into what everybody wants to call a recession. Interest rates are still rising. Home values are changing. Inflation is still happening. Gas prices are still going up. Food is still costing more than what it should. Rent is still rising. So this is more things that are adding on. And if the paycheck doesn't change, how are you going to make a difference? How are you going to be able to cover that $400 or $500 more that you have to dish out every month if the paycheck stays the same? So again, you have to get in the right mindset so you can get out of that financial secure and that financial independent phase and move into a level of financial freedom where you're not worried about that anymore, because you've put yourself in the position where your credit is good, you understand how to manage your money and budget, you've educated your children and family on how to do the same thing, and now you're leveraging OPM to create and continue to live the life that you want and deserve. So that's what we have to think about. So we have to change the narrative for our kids and for our future. There are certain conversations that we should be having with our kids and with our family members on a day-to-day basis. Again, change that narrative. We want to move away from the conversations that have nothing to do with us. So many people have been concerned about Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan's relationship. That has nothing to do with me. I never met these people. I probably will never meet these people. They don't know my name, but I know their name. I know all their business. But if I can spend an hour debating with people online that, like, I've seen people debate back and forth for 30 or 40 minutes about somebody else's life and the choices that they made, are you having that same mindset when it comes to your credit and your finances? Are you having those same conversations when it comes to ensuring that you have enough money to be able to live how you want, to be able to pay more than just your expenses every month? Okay. If we're thinking about our kids and our future, and maybe not, if you're a person who is an adult and you weren't educated on credit and you're at a point now where you just want to do the right thing so you can live how you want to live, there are certain words and there are certain things that we should be understanding and have knowledge on a day-to-day basis. We need to get familiar with certain financial terms. So when you're in these banks, when you're applying for things, when you're having these conversations in your business, then you can feel confident to be able to speak and understand where you are and where it is that you want to go. Here are some words that we should be teaching our children, that we as parents and adults should know and understand, is debt. Debt. Debt is a two-way street. There's good debt and then there's bad debt. It's okay to have debt. But if you have debt and you don't have any assets, you don't have any cash flow, then it's bad. So you need to understand debt. There's two sides to it. Some debt is good and it's necessary, and some debt is bad, as we all know. And then income. You need to understand what income means. It's not just going to work for 40 to 50 hours a week and paying your bills and then coming back home and repeating that cycle. That is not the life that we are meant to live. And for some of us, that's where we are and that's where we've been for a long time. But there's more to that. If you're in a place now and you're tired, you're going to work for 8 to 10 hours, getting off, and you're just burnt out, and you don't have any energy for your kids, you don't have any energy for your family, you don't have any energy for yourself to build that business that you continuously talk about, something has to change. You have to change your mindset and say that this job is temporary. This job is here to put me in a position to create the life that I want. It's temporary. You need to learn how to leverage your job to get out of it. And for some people, they love their job. They're happy. It's created a lifestyle. It's created things that they want and they have, and that's okay. But if you want more, then you have to change your mindset. So debt, income, savings, interest, a budget, credit. These are words that we need our children and our family members to know and to understand on a day-to-day basis. Inflation, that word and that term has been used so much lately. And a lot of people don't even know what inflation means. We have to educate ourselves so we know what's going on. So when we turn on the news or whatever box you're watching, you know how to move forward. You don't want to be in that position where they've been talking about it, and 6 months later, now you're saying, what's next? What am I going to do now? How am I going to get out of this situation? Who's going to save me? Nobody's there to save you. You have to figure it out for yourself. Here's some other words: investments, collateral, insurance. These are words that we should be educating our children on a day-to-day basis. These are the conversations we need to be having with our kids so they know where they are and where they're going. You train your children in the direction that they want to go. What entertains you trains you. That's the mindset that we have to have. You have to be able to envision the life that you want. If you have a vision for it, you've already seen it. It's already yours. If you can envision it, if you can imagine it, if you can see it, if you can write it down and put it on paper, then it's already there for you. You just have to make it happen. You just have to put yourself in the right state of mind to say, what I see is already for me. I just need to put a plan together to get there. And it may not be easy, but it can happen because you already see the light. Okay? And to make it plain, when you're envisioning that life, be real. What is it that you want? If you envision that dream life, what is it that you want? Do you want to be able to quit your job? And this is for your financial future. Envision the life that you want to have with the financial future that you desire. If I have my finances in order, I want to be able to quit my job. If I have my finances in order, I want to be able to buy that house. If I have my finances in order, I want to be able to retire my mom or my dad or my grandma or whomever. If I have my finances in order, I want to be able to confidently start that business and leverage OPM to scale my business. If I have my finances in order, I want to be able to buy that car without stressing, without having to go down to the lot and put $3,000 down for a 2006 car that has 123,000 miles on it, and my payment is $750 a month for 62 months. That is not financial freedom. And I know we have all seen that. I know at one point or another, we've had ourselves, friends, or family members in those situations super excited. That's not financial freedom. Envision the life that you want. No, I want to be able to create financial freedom so I can go into the dealership and pick the car that I want and not the car that I have to settle with, and leverage my credit to where I don't have to put a down payment and my interest rate is 2.4% for the next 36 months because I decided just to lease the car. Because I put myself in the right financial situation, because I envisioned the life that I wanted, and I got my mindset right to create the financial freedom that I desire and deserve. Again, envision the life. And again, for some people, it could be so simple as being able to put all the bills on auto pay. Being able to make payments with ease. Maybe it's being able to help your friends and your family without having to wonder, can I afford this? Can I do this? Envision the life that you want if you decided to take the right steps and put yourself in the right mindset to get your credit right, so you can experience that level of financial freedom that is important to you. So that's going to lead me into the next part of this. How do we do that? How do I create financial freedom? How do I do it? There's 5 things that you can do. And again, it has to do with your mindset. And the first thing is taking accountability for your life. And that's a hard one. That's something that I think we all at some point or another aren't ready to do for whatever phase of life it is that we are in. But when it comes to our finances, a lot of times people reach out for credit repair services and they want overnight success when it took you 6 years to ruin your credit. But you think in 45 days that I'm going to be able to wipe the 5 evictions, the repos, the 8 charge-offs, the 16 collections, the 35 inquiries. You think all that's just going to disappear in a week, and that's not realistic. It took you 6 years to get there. It's not overnight success to be able to fix your credit and create the life that you want. You have to put in a little bit of work. It's going to take time. So for some of us, it's taking accountability of where we've been so we can create the life that we want in our finances. Taking responsibility for your actions and your emotions and the current situation is the first step towards breaking out of old patterns and changing your life. Taking responsibility is important. Taking responsibility means that you are no longer blaming others. You are understanding what happened and what you can do to change your life. And if you can't change it, then how can I improve and move forward? If you can take accountability, then you're going to be able to answer these questions and understand and know how to move forward and say, I'm not going to do that again. I've been down that road. I'm not going back. I've taken accountability for my actions and what I did. I understand how it affected me and others. And I'm ready to make a change because I can't go back and do anything different in the past, but I know how it will affect my future because now I know how to move forward. Now I know what steps it is that I need to take. Now you're more responsible because you're not allowing those past mistakes to hold you back. You've acknowledged it and you're ready to move forward. So when you're taking accountability, you need to write down those problems. What is affecting you? What is limiting you from being able to experience financial freedom? What is limiting you from being able to leverage your credit? What is limiting you from being able to pay for things without having to look at the price tag? What is limiting you from that? And if you're working and you're doing everything that you can, that is great. But there's something else there. You need to ask yourself when you're taking accountability, how am I responsible for this problem? What did I do to create this problem? And for a lot of us, it's just not having the education and the knowledge on how to use our credit. It's that simple. Sometimes it's not necessarily 100% your fault. You just weren't educated. Again, like I said, when I first understood credit, I was great. Somebody gave me a credit card. I got 5 or 6 credit cards. I was happy. $1,000 here. You know, when you first turn 18, cell phones, TVs, everything, you're super excited. You think you're living a life of freedom, and you're not, because they want their money back plus some. And then when you get a little older and there's things that you actually need in life and now you can't obtain them because of the decisions that you made, I have to be held accountable. How do I fix this? How do I move forward so I can experience financial freedom and not just be financially secure to be able to pay my bills and that's it? That's not the life. So the next thing in being able to have the right mindset for financial freedom is understanding that you need to have a growth versus a fixed mindset. And the growth mindset is understanding there's a better way for this to happen. A fixed mindset would be trying to avoid things and again, sweep them under the rug and deal with it later, figure it out, whatever. Having a growth mindset is saying, no, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do something different. Versus having a fixed mindset of saying, whatever, I'll just be stuck in this situation. I'll just be stuck in my ways. Having a growth mindset is saying, no, I'm going to change my approach to this situation. Versus saying, oh, well, it'll fall off in 7 years in reference to your credit. Oh, well, I'll just have to wait 2 years and I'll reapply. No. Have a growth mindset. What can I do to change this? Like I said, every new level of financial freedom requires a new version of yourself. You may not be ready to experience that level of financial freedom because you haven't dealt with the financial issues you have now. You're not ready to accept that next level because you haven't shown to yourself that you can handle where you are right now. So sometimes the success that you want, the financial freedom that you're striving for, is on the other side. But you haven't shown and proved to yourself that you are ready to take it to that next level. So how do you do that? You start taking action. You start setting goals. If you pull your credit today and your credit score is at a 505, a 470, a 360, I've seen it. If your credit score is there, you need to start creating a plan and setting goals. Goal number 1, how can I improve my credit score to 680? That's goal number 1. How can I get my credit score above 680? What steps do I need to take? Who do I need to work with? You need to start setting goals. And once my credit is at 680, what do I want to do with my credit? How can I leverage my credit so I can buy some of my time back and not have to work as often? And the last thing is taking action. You've set these goals. You know where you are. You've taken accountability. You now have a different mindset, a better perspective on how you're going to move forward. You have to take action. Simple. What am I going to do? What steps do I have to take to get started? Why am I doing this? Simply, I'm going to fix my credit, and this is how I'm going to do it. And this is why I'm going to do it. Because I want to be able to buy a house in 12 months. I want to be able to go to the car lot and buy that car. I want to be able to help my family retire. I want to be able to help my friends. I want to be able to start a business and not have to bootstrap my business and use my savings and work extra hours to be able to cover the necessities of my business. Every new level of financial freedom requires a new version of yourself. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely worth it. If you were to spend 6 months focusing on yourself, now you have a lifetime to live the life that you want. For some people, it only takes a couple of months to fix their credit. And for others, it may take a little longer. But you have to start. If you were waiting, if you were looking for a sign or something, this is your sign. If you go pull your credit today and it's below 680, then you need to spend this weekend making a plan. You need to spend this weekend taking action. You need to spend the next few days taking accountability. And you need to spend the next few days creating the right mindset and understanding that where you are is not where you have to be. Where you are can be temporary. If you decide to take action and take your life back so you can create the level of freedom that you want and desire in your life. Nobody said that you had to wake up every single day for the next 25 and 30 years and work a job for 40 to 80 hours every 2 weeks to get a check, to come home and to do it again. Nobody says that you have to work until you're 65 years old and retire on 40% of the income that you made and then live on a budget until you die. That is not life. And for some people, they're okay with that. Some people are able to manage their money. Some people are able to understand different types of assets and ways that they can leverage their credit. So even if they are working, they're investing their money back into their future. So if you are working and you're like, no, I want to stay working, I'm not trying to quit my job and do all this other stuff. If you're not, that's fine. But you need to start taking your money. It's not just about a 401k. There's more than just a 401k. There's different ways that you can take the money that you're putting away in that savings and you can use it and leverage it to create more passive income. So then you can get out of that financially secure and that financially independent phase and you can move into a level of financial freedom even if you are still working. That is possible. So we have a few minutes left, guys. So if you know that your credit is not where you are, if you know that you can't go get that car or purchase that home or do what you want to do with your credit right now, then you need to pull your credit report. You need to figure out what is on my credit, what do I need to fix, what do I need to pay, what do I need to get rid of so I can be in that financial position of freedom. So I don't have to pick and choose what bills I'm going to pay now or what bills I might skip so I can take my kids on vacation or so I can go to out this weekend so I can afford to go to this concert or do whatever. That is what a lot of people are doing right now. Again, you shouldn't have to compromise. If you're in a financial position of compromising, you are not free. You need to fix your credit. Credit is king. Again, if you have a $25,000 credit card, you can use $5,000 of that credit card as a down payment on a car, and you can put it on Toro. And within 2 to 3 months, you done paid that credit card back, and now you're creating passive income through the credit card with somebody else's money. You didn't come out of pocket for that. When you paid that credit card back, it came from the profit that you made from the Turo business. And that's not the only thing. You can take that money and you can use it to go get a property, sublease the property, if the owner is okay with that and you understand the rules and regulations in your state. And you're creating passive income. You can take that $5,000 out and use it to start a new business that's cash flowing in 3 months. And now you have more passive income. Credit is about leverage. It's about using the bank's money to create the opportunity, using that opportunity and that revenue to pay back the bank's money. And then the bank will give you more money after 6 months because they see that you're responsible. So now you can double up. But you have to be able to fix your credit first. You have to understand what an ideal credit profile should look like. And I'm going to break that down for you guys. Your ideal credit profile should be a 680 or above to start at a minimum. Anything below is okay, but it's not going to give you what you want. You're looking for credit cards that are $5,000, $10,000 limits, $15,000 limits, but your credit score is 540. It's not going to happen. There are some people here who get those credit cards in the mail that offer you $300, $400, $500 limits. Stop taking those, because you're building a credit profile full of low limit credit cards. It's not going to be easy to start getting those high credit card limits when you have a bunch of low limit cards. It's not good. So 680 or above to start. You want to have 2 or more major credit cards from what is considered major banks or credit unions. You should have credit cards that are at least 2 years old. That's called age. The age on your account should be at least 2 years, 24 months. You want to have limits that are at least $2,500, at least $1,000 limits to start. You want to keep your credit usage under 35% utilization. That's the number, 35%, but ideally you should be keeping all of your credit cards combined under 10 or 15% combined. So if you have a credit card with, let's say, a $2,500 limit, and you need to keep that credit card under 15%, you can't spend more than $375. Or spend it and pay it down to that amount. You don't want to have utilization too high, because the banks will frown upon that. They're going to say, well, we let you borrow our money, but you can't pay us our money back, or you're continuously using our money and using all of it, and you're not able to take care of that balance once a month. To them, you look financially irresponsible. That's why people strive to say utilization, keep it below a certain percent. It makes up more than 30% of the points that you get on your credit. The next thing is you don't want to have any late payments, at least 24 months of no late payments. Payment history and utilization make up the bulk of your credit score. And that's another conversation for another day we will deep dive into. You want to make sure that you don't have any bankruptcies, any charge-offs, any evictions and repossessions and things like that on your credit. And then finally, no collection. So medical debt, if you went to the doctor and didn't pay those co-pays for 6 months, if you had a cell phone account and you closed it out and moved to another company because your bill was too high, you have a collection. You need to get all of these things off of your credit. That is how you first start to create financial freedom. Once you've done everything in reference to taking action, understanding and setting goals, changing your mindset, taking accountability, now it's time to take action. It's time to pull your credit. It's time to look at the things that are on your credit and figure out, what can I remove? Who can I pay if they're going to delete it from my credit? Start taking action so you can live the life that you desire. When I tell you we're going into a recession where prices are going to continue to rise, jobs are going to become stale, you're not going to be where you want to be, and you won't be able to live how you want to live unless you understand how to leverage your credit, unless you understand how to budget, unless you understand how to diversify, unless you understand how to create new opportunities. Credit is going to get you there. So let's quickly recap in our last minute, guys. Today we talked about our mindset for a financial future. And that's taking accountability. That's having the right mindset. That's removing those limited beliefs. That's setting goals and taking action. That's pulling your credit report and figuring out, what can you fix. I hope you guys enjoyed our show today. I love speaking with you guys. If they had any value out of today's show, definitely like, comment, and share. I will see you guys next Thursday at 4 o'clock so we can create new ways to help you level up in your life. See you guys next week. Bye.